Hello, today I am looking at the wonderful Jibun Techo. I've been using this planner since November and I wanted to share some thoughts. There is a full-blown long blog post that goes alongside this with lots of lovely pictures, but I needed to do this video because I think there's lots you can say and things I need to show you, and a video is the best way to do that. So straight up, what I really like about this is the size. It's smaller than an A5, but still nice and compact, and the great thing is it comes with this plastic cover. Really like this cover, keeps everything nice and simple. So there's a big pocket you've got on the front here, that's about half the page, and if you flip on the back you've got a nice long pocket going all the way down here, and pockets inside. So credit card pockets, side pockets, and then go to the back, another big pocket with lots of credit card size pockets. Pocket central. And the plastic cover is obviously really useful. It's not fancy, it's not over accessorized like Hobonichi can be, but it's really good. Next up, you've got two bookmarks, two different colours. I really like that aspect, because you can use a bookmark for your month and a bookmark for your week, and it works really well. So if we go straight in on the inside, because I hate these videos that take too long to actually show you what you're looking at. So inside you've got, you know, how to use the Techo, but unless you can read Japanese, useless. Then you go into 4 years on a double page spread. Gives you a nice overview. You can look at last year, the current year sits down here in the bottom left, and then you've got 2 years ahead. Really nice feature if you want to need to plan or look at future dates. Then you have your full year on a double page spread here. Weekends are colour coded, really nice, so it's easy to look at. The only obvious downside to that is the Japanese bank holidays are also colour coded, and they are irrelevant for anyone outside of Japan. Then you have a couple of extras that you don't get with any other planners that I quite liked and gives this bit of an edge. You have an age chart if you want to see someone's age and you can't figure it out yourself. You can write down your dreams for 2018, so goal planners amongst us will probably love that feature. For me, I don't use it, haven't needed to. Then you have a money plan. And then you have a dummy weekly page spread, which again, really helpful. If you're not sure how to use this when you get it, you can kind of experiment on this page. You have a Japan map, fine. Then you have favourite phrases, if you kind of want to jot those down and make a note of them. You have a recommendations list, recommendations for what, I'm not sure, but the page is there if you want to use it. Then you have a book list. Now you can see I've actually put a tab in here because I quite like this book, this page and this book list, and essentially it just gives you space to write in the books you're reading. So let's actually zoom in, you can have a little look. The books you're reading, when you've read them or how long it's taken you to read it, smiley faces, so you can decide, did I like that book or not? And then you can kind of note that down too, and then a comment. What I've done here, as you can see with my handy pointer, is if it's an audiobook, I've drawn awful headphones, and if it's a non-fiction of some description, I just write that down there to kind of, I don't really read much non-fiction, but it kind of tracks what I'm reading. I really like this. A book tracker or a tracker of some description is really helpful, and to have it in my planner is quite nice because then I can associate it with the year. You also have a movie list, again one I use because I've got a handy tabby there too, and same sort of setup. You kind of write your movie down, when you watched it and what you kind of thought about it. Then there is a gifts and given and received page if you like to track that kind of thing. A promise list, if you've made promises and you're going to break them, at least you know who to avoid. And then you've got TV series. Now this is one I've used because this is a blank page with the same setup and you can track what you want. So I thought I'd include TV series in here, and it's very simple on this one. It just gives you space to a column to kind of write down what it is, and then a comment section. So there's no smiley faces, unfortunately. But yeah, it's just a double page spread to do with as you wish. Now, the element I really like in this planner is, I guess you could call it a habit tracker page. So in here, if we zoom again, you have your month, which corresponds to a colour that you see throughout the whole planner. So in your monthly spreads, in your weeklies, and on this section, these colours associate to the month you're going to look at. Then you have space down the left hand side to write down habits. you've got your days and your dates across the top, and then these little boxes that you can kind of fill in and track your habits. Now, for a period, I decided I would like to plan ahead and try and highlight a day that I would like to do something, and then if I do it, wonderful. If I don't, then I feel shame. But it's really, really nice. It's just simple. I like a form of habit tracker. I used to do it when I used to build my bullet journal. It became very, very tedious trying to do that all the time, and this has it built in for the full year, so I really like it, and it's something I have been using. My completion of those habits are questionable, but it's here and I like it, and I've been using it every month, and I kind of fill it out. Nothing really changes. It's usually health related and exercise related, but it sits in here, and it works quite well. And again, you can see it's just two months per double page spread, and that goes all the way out through to the end of the year. So then you have your monthlies that come straight after that. And again, as I was saying, you can see the colour change here because this is December, and December is pink. Now, there's some lovely features on this. I've always like a monthly paper diary still. I do put stuff in my iPhone, but I still like to write it down on paper. And it kind of just, I use this for appointments and holidays and things like that. It all goes in here. Now, the extras I like on this page are quite good, and these kind of follow throughout. So the first up is, I love this bold typeface. For the partially sighted among us, this works really, really nicely, and it's bold and clear, and it makes it very, very easy to flip through. There is also underneath that a column of these check boxes, which are, I guess, intended to use as to-do lists, and that's what I do. I write down in that month what's coming up that I either need to remember, I have to do, want to complete, and that might not relate to a specific date. So as you can see, this is December, and I've written Father Christmas here because I wanted to take my little one to Father Christmas. So I basically put it in here, mark it off when I've completed it, and that to-do list goes all the way down the side of the page. And then if you're really busy, there's a little bit of space along the bottom as well. The next thing I really like is there is always on each monthly calendar a view of your previous month, the current month, and a month ahead. And again, I really like that. Don't necessarily reference it very often, but it's actually really handy to kind of look at a view of what's going on next month, or when did that fall on the previous month. So really, really helpful. And each of your days, your weekend is always a Saturday in blue, Sunday in orange, and if there's a bank holiday in Japan, that is also shown in orange. But at the top here is those lovely smiley faces again, so they appear here if you want to mark off whether that day was any good or not. I haven't necessarily used that, but it's a nice little feature for those who like to track everything or want to use this in a different way. So it's really, really nice, and again, you get that all the way through till March of 2019, so you can really plan ahead there. So if we flip ahead to some weekly spreads, and we'll find a good weekly spread. So the way I've been using these hasn't actually changed very much. So as you can see, this is a bit of a funny week, but you have your month again shown up here, and because this is a crossover month, you actually see the 2 months down here. Room for to-dos. You have across here the colour coding system again. You have on each day a little section which basically shows you your weather. So we'll zoom in so we can see this a bit clearer. Space for your weather, and I just ring what the weather's like that day. Not imperative, but it's quite nice to do. I then track my sleep. I have a small person, so sometimes if we're up in the night, as you can see on this day, I kind of vaguely block it out to see how much we were up, how long we might have been up for, how much sleep I'm getting, and it's just a nice tracker because I can see patterns over time. If he's not sleeping well, or if we're not sleeping well, it's all tracked in here. This isn't because I particularly want to track my sleep or know how long I'm sleeping for, but it's with a small person, it's just quite nice. I then fill this in each day retrospectively. I don't forward plan. I basically add in anything of note that I might have done that day. It just gets filled in, so not everything goes in, but blocks of time or time that I've spent on something gets added. And then at the bottom of each day you have a blank section, a section here where these smiley faces crop up again, and you can kind of write in whether you've had a good day, a bad day, or whatever. And then a section for your meals. So if you like to meal plan or look at how you're eating over a period of time, that's quite nice, and I fill that in. It shows when I'm being particularly unhealthy or have had a good day. And that blank section, the reason I chose this page is I started after a time using it again to track things with my little one when he's poorly. So for these few days he had temperatures, and I would just use it to jot down when he had temperature and what his temperature was. And it's useful if I have to go to the doctor or speak to a pharmacist or something like that. So this section, again, is just practical. I don't tend to fill it out on the average week, so if we just randomly flip back, most of the time it's blank, as you can see, but there are times when I use it and it does work quite well. And I really like these weekly pages. They really work. It's like I say, it's a way for me not to time track or plan in that sense. It's a retrospective view of my day, and I can just see how I'm doing over a period of time. I have filled this in pretty much every week bar Christmas week, using all my fountain pens. The finer nibs work really well in this, because the space is quite small. When you get to use a bolder sort of medium nib or something up, it does get a bit trickier, but it kind of works, and it just gives you a nice view of your year. And the pages, once they're used, get this nice crinkle that you expect from Tomoe River paper, and it looks nice, it feels good. And it's just a great little planner. I really am enjoying it, and I've got nothing but positivity. It's completely replaced my Hobonichi. There are a few criticisms I have, one of which being something like this. There's only 2 blank pages in this entire notebook. The Jibun Techo is supposed to be used, or can be used, as a part of a bigger tool, and one of them is it comes with a blank notebook, hence why there's not many blank pages in this. But for people like me who just use the planner, a few additional pages in here would be quite nice, because that's not really a lot of room, and if I'm making notes, my writing's huge and this would just get eaten up. There is this page here, you've got this looking back on 2018 double page spread at the end. I really like this. I haven't filled it in, but it's nice because you can kind of take time to reflect on your month, what's gone well. It's a double page, so you could split it out and do personal versus work, or family versus personal, and you can kind of fill this out in any way you want, and it's just a nice little feature. I really like it. There's lots of maps of Tokyo and undergrounds and things like that. You have your standard world map and the time differences that you get with these traditional planners, and a personal data section at the end. None of those I've used. Very unlikely to use, partially because they're in Japanese, but it's a well thought out planner. It's got great paper, you can use lots of different things with it. It's functional, it's small, there's not too much bulk there that I really like, and I really like this plastic cover. It just keeps it simple, keeps it clean, and I can throw in a load of pages, as you can see here, of my my doctor's notes there, but it works really well, and it's a nice tool, and it's completely replaced other things I was using, such as the Traveller's Notebook or the Hobonichi. So if you need a planner and you want a planner, I recommend this.